Description: I was selected to be the group leader for this assignment. My role was essentially to organize and chair meetings, direct the documentary, prepare minutes, and coordinate activities for this project. During the course of this project, I was robbed of my laptop and other electronics. We had several meetings, communicated significantly, and spent many sleepless nights to complete this process. Although there were many setbacks, we were able to complete the assignment for posting. This process was overwhelming and frustrating. At first, I was excited about this project, especially since I was selected as group leader. After our first meeting, I was confident we had a good plan of action to complete this assignment successfully. After being robbed of my belongings, I was deflated and disenchanted, and considered resigning my duties to someone else. This process was thwarted with one disappointment after the other. Feelings of frustration and worry were constant, as the meetings were long and the technology was failing us. As I worked with a software with which I had never worked before, I was broken with disappointment and brought to tears as I had not saved a video production which I had been working on for 10 consecutive hours. I was very humbled and frustrated during this process. Evaluation. The time management was inadequate. We changed our methodology too many times. Our inadequacy in managing the various technological tools were a hindrance. The workload was shared equally among group members based on their strengths. We have evidence of collaboration and worked as a team. In the end, we completed with all relevant parts. Analysis. The good for me was that this was an educational and enlightening process in many respects. I learned a lot about leadership, managing people, making a documentary, using various technological tools such as MindMap, Google Doc, Cyberlink, Dropbox, Movie Maker, etc. I believe we were creative and innovative and posited interesting ideas. To my mind, we made some bad decisions about the process, began the project late and procrastinated on some tasks which cost us very valuable time. Our inadequate knowledge of the various technological tools hindered our progress significantly. Keeping the team focused sometimes proved challenging. Some group members did not grasp the urgency required in communication and information sharing at critical times. Conclusion. I have learned a lot about working with others, leadership, using technological tools, and about my personal character. Overcoming these obstacles and challenges made me realize that I have a greater resolve than I previously thought. I could have done this better if I was better prepared and educated myself about the various technological tools that were required and shared this knowledge with my colleagues. I could have set out a timeline and activity matrix for group activities. Action plan. The lessons learned are valuable for other collaborative activities. I will set timelines for group work activities and recommend better decision-making processes during collaborative tasks. I will seek to educate myself further on technological tools that can enhance professional experiences and share these with my colleagues. I will provide greater support to colleagues who are having challenges in a more timely fashion. This has served me in good stead to become a better reflective practitioner.
My role and responsibility. My role and responsibility were to research the importance of reflective practice in today's society, source the videographer, a library, a projector screen, and a multimedia projector. Upon realizing that the idea of using Skype being projected on a screen, having a live and direct documentary effect was not to be materialized, my role and responsibility changed. Being the empowered and tenacious group we are, we resorted to our contingency plan of doing a personal video recording. Therefore, my sole responsibility was to create a personal video recording explaining the importance of reflective practice in today's society, and therefore send it to the relevant member for
One of
editing.
my
Thank
role
you.
was the implication of reflective practice on the learner. Being a reflective leader, I am open to new ideas and new way of thinking. But first, I need to understand myself in terms of feelings, thoughts, and my precise judgment. I am willing to learn from my experience on the experience of others and change things. Based on the implication of reflective practice on the learner, as a reflective leader, I will ask myself, what aspect of my knowledge or skill could I develop, and what goal can I set for myself in the future? So I will ask myself the following question: what am I sensing? What am I feeling? What am I thinking? What am I willing to do? What am I unwilling to do? My other role in the group was being a communicator from the course coordinator to my group members.
Of Gibbs reflective model, and with Gibbs reflective model we look at description, feelings, evaluation, analysis, conclusion, and action plan. Gibbs theory has its advantages and its disadvantages. Some of the advantages of this model are: it encourages people to think, uses basic qualities, it encourages a clear description. Likewise, there are disadvantages to using this model. A more critical view might be needed, as well as the questions might not adapt to the situation. With Gibbs' model, he takes into consideration most things, yet still there are pitfalls. I believe that once it is used effectively, you will achieve positive results.
Doing the effective my part, I found it was a bit challenging. I think that some of the information I had was not relevant, but I appreciated the assistance from my colleagues because they encouraged me and assisted me in areas that I needed. It was a bit, how would I say, a very good team effort, because the challenges we encountered trying to do it together was quickly solved by Jonathan and David when they decided that we should do it individually. We kept in contact, there were emails, there were meetings being held. So for me, my part on the effective practices of Gibbs theory, I learned as I took part in it. So for me it was a learning experience, and I am glad to be a part of such a great team.
Examine Thorne's theory. However, I was outvoted by my group members who were determined to explore Gibbs' model instead. The group met several evenings via Skype to discuss the task and assign roles and responsibilities. The group tried live Skype interviews, but that did not work, so we resorted to recording and emailing videos. However, even that was challenging for some, yet we remained positive and were able to complete the assignment. When I first saw the assignment, I felt disappointed that we were required to do it in groups. During our first Skype meeting, I felt confident that we would have been able to work through the assignment with relative ease. I was very disappointed that the group had decided to explore Gibbs' model rather than Scorn's work. During many of our Skype meetings, I felt frustrated due to some person's poor internet connection, causing a lot of feedback and hindering effective communication. However, I tried as much as possible to remain optimistic and be a beacon of encouragement to my group members. What was good about the experience? I was exposed to new forms of technology. I learned to appreciate individual differences. I developed an appreciation for Gibbs' work. My problem-solving skills were put into use. I learned from my peers. My awareness and management of time improved. Group members were very supportive, dedicated, and cooperative. What was bad about the experience? The time limit made it very difficult to put the documentary together. Geographical barriers caused a great challenge. The documentary did not turn out as planned. Coping with learning to use and using new software was challenging because of the time available to do so. What did we do well as a group? Using various software which allowed us to work collaboratively was a great success. For example, MindMeister, Google Documents. What did I do well? Using technology to assist Jonathan with recording, editing, and putting together the information, researching and preparing the content. What did others do well? Group members were creative problem solvers. They were cooperative and accommodating. They were also very persistent. And what could I have done differently? Since it was very time consuming to edit the various videos, I would start earlier next time to allow myself more time to work on putting the pieces together. I would respectfully, critically assess the ideas of others and point out the strengths and weaknesses of suggestions. I would also assist in the assigning of roles by considering individual strengths and weaknesses. In the future, I intend on putting all of these things into consideration when planning or preparing for a similar experience.